Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome to my thoughts, or what have you, on the first game of the anime. To preface this whole thing, because both the game and the anime have episodes, and I have episodes, which makes the whole thing more confusing, I'm gonna, refer to this as Game 1 of the anime. And this, of course, all correlates to Episode 1 of the visual novel. I managed to go ahead and binge watch this whole thing because I couldn't sleep. And the first thing, which I've been told about before this, but I can definitely attest to myself, is that the opening is really good. I mean, like, every time I watch that, it's such a good opening, it really is. But what's up with that ending? Like, like seriously, like, what's this? Now, I've been lucky enough to play through Umineko with the PS3 visuals, which really improved the visual quality a lot for the character portraits and some of the background stuff too, I think. And from what I can tell, the anime is sort of at a weird place, like in between the original visuals and the PS3 visuals. So they're better than the original, but not nearly as good as the PS3, at least in my opinion. And for the most part, most of the characters are pretty passable. I'm okay with most of them. Some of them look a little bit weird. Like, Gota's ugly. Like, he's really ugly. And Nancho reminds me of a rabbit for some reason. I'm not sure. Maybe it's that mustache thing going on. This may have been told to me at some point, but I'm pretty sure the same voice actors from the anime did the voice actors for, I guess, the PS3 version, that I got patched into our game. Which sounds great, not really a disconnect between what I'm used to hearing and that, so that's pretty nice. And of course, Kinzo's still got the same great voice actor, so he's still got the same great lines coming from him. Maria is just as annoying as I remember her to be. But finally, I'll get to my criticisms so far, and I have to say, for the first game, I'm not that annoyed by it. I've been told later that it does get annoying and that it gets pretty bad later, but for the first game, not bad in my opinion. I wouldn't go as far as to say good, but not bad. The story, as I described it in my head, feels like it's going 400 miles per hour. Convert that to your local speed. If you use strange non-American units. And I understand, why that the story feels like it's going as fast as it is, because if they didn't, this would be a 200 episode anime. But it still doesn't detract from the fact that if you don't know the story, it's probably really jarring. Being as I do know the story, it's actually a really interesting revisit to everything that's happened so far. And in my mind is filling in all the blanks that they're leaving out. But I could imagine that being, never seeing the visual novel and not knowing anything about the story, that this could be a really confusing thing. Because they jump from area to area, and by the time we finished off the first game, I was invested about an hour and 20 minutes or so. Whereas by that point in the story, you're hours into it in the visual novel. So I understand why they compressed it as much as they did and they left out a lot of stuff. And to their credit, I think considering how much they had to compress, for at least the first game, they did a pretty darn good job. And that's what I would say. I'd say game 1, I haven't seen the rest, so, maybe. In fact, I've been told it does get worse in terms of stuff they leave out. But they kept in a lot of the high points, and with exception to the fact that some of the characters' motivations are a bit lacking, just because they had to cut out a lot of stuff, it's still pretty good. The main example that I had for lacking motivation was that when Maria started freaking out about the rose in the garden, when it started to rain and Maria's mother came out and started getting angry at her. By this point in the story, we didn't have a ton of motivation for Rosa being so mad at Maria, but we had a little bit, and that was lost a little bit in the anime. You sort of got Rosa coming over and, just kind of lashing out for no reason. Not that it wasn't that much different in the visual novel, but at the very least I think we had a little bit of information as to why she was so angry about it. Throughout the whole thing, we of course have Maria's creepy eyes. Those haven't left. In fact, I think they've gotten even worse. It did definitely get quite a bit of a grisly graphic overhaul, whereas the visual novel did a lot of censoring. It didn't show a lot of gore. It showed a lot of blood, and it described a lot of things, but it didn't show that many things. The anime, on the other hand, does actually show a lot of kind of grisly looking scenes, like dead, half dead Shannon face. It sounds like some of the music from the visual novel was carried over, though redone a little bit. It's not exactly the same. They're usually a lot lighter in tone.
殺しただけじゃ飽き足らず、さらにこんな無体なことを。悪魔や、悪魔の仕業や。ひでえ、ひどすぎるぜ。
Overall, just as a final note on it, I really did enjoy the first game so far. It does a really good job, the anime, of showing some of the more dramatic scenes that I think, while they were described in great detail, no expense was spared in describing them. It was a little lacking in visual components, which, is kind of expected from a visual novel. But now that we have the anime here, it does a really good job of visualizing a lot of these scenes that you kind of had to keep in your head, which, take that good as bad as you will. Some people don't like movies because they imagine a book one way and then the movie, whoever the director is, visualized it a different way, and now it's different. I personally like seeing whoever, makes a movie, or in this case an anime, what their thought of the event was, how they took the event, and I think honestly it was really good. In this scene that hopefully I'm showing, because I still haven't grabbed any of the video scenes yet, was right as the first key party, when everyone sort of starts disintegrating because Battler doesn't believe. I think that was really powerful because it was such a weird scene when I first saw it. I didn't really understand at first that the first scene where Battler is sort of going along and we're discussing the game, and it's like, oh well, we couldn't really figure it out, Beatrice got us, and Battler's like, wait, no, there's something weird about that, and the tone suddenly shifts and everyone's sort of looking at Battler with well, no, Battler, you gotta believe. And Battler starts shutting them down, and everyone kind of just starts falling apart. And while it was described in great detail, it wasn't really shown in the same way. And I think the anime did a really great job of that. Overall, I wouldn't say it was a great one. Like I said, the visuals kind of turned me off somewhat, but I think it did some really neat things as well. So yeah. First game anime is good for me. Let's see about the rest of them. These aren't going to be scheduled or anything. I'm not going to do one of these every other day. It just so happened to be that we started it tonight because I couldn't sleep. So I decided to binge watch the first game of the anime. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought about the same events. And game 2, thoughts will be coming out as soon as I think them and watch the anime. Anyway, thanks for watching / listening.
てめえをこの世から消し去ってやるよ。